The female counterpart to the Champagne Stakes is the Frizette. It's a grade one. It's the seventh race on the Saturday card at Belmont at the Big A, part of the Fall Championship meet. It's run at a mile for 2-year-old fillies, and of course, that's a one-turn mile at Aqueduct. You look at this field, and of course, Senza Parole at 3-5 has to be the standout. That's a pretty short price for a 10-horse field, but her debut was pretty impressive. You got the Queen's MG, who won the Schuylerville as well as the Adirondack. Not too competitive in the spinaway, but trying to rebound. Also, Queen's MG is dual entered at Keeneland, and that's a two-turn race, so we'll see where she ends up. You've also, most of these other ones are maidens stepping up, but you do have Economama, who's coming out of the Pocahontas, who had a nice third, and Social Fortress, who just won the sorority at Monmouth around two turns. So it's an interesting field. Now we take a look at it, and of course it's going to be dominated by early runners, being 2-year-olds, most of which just won their maiden for fun. So that's not a big surprise here. If you take a look at this field, Snow White ran I thought a good race last time, and was awful game going down the stretch. But the thing that bothered me a little bit was her late fraction was a little on the slow side, and it told me that maybe stretching out isn't necessarily what this one wants, and really to hold off all of these other front runners and wire this field, I think, is a really tall order. And at 6-1, I really don't want any part of her. You want to use her underneath in the exotics, I can see it, but I'm not going to bother with her. Pondering, I'm going to give a second chance. Her maiden score, by the looks of it, it looked like a horse who wants more ground, and you've got it here. The spinaway was in the mud. That may have been the reason for such a dismal performance, but she just didn't look terribly comfortable all the way around the track. And the fact that Brendan Walsh went out and got Flavian Pratt tells me that there's more in the tank here. And with a dry track at 12-1 in particular, Pondering could certainly rebound here. Hopefully she's not a need to lead type, and that wasn't the problem there in the last one, as well as the mud. But I think Pondering deserves another chance, so we'll throw her in the mix. Another cliche kind of goes against my thoughts about horses who win runaway maiden scores moving into stakes races, because I just liked the way she ran around the track. She just seemed to have more in the tank, drew off well, and her pedigree doesn't necessarily, to me, scream more distance. But at one-turn mile, I think at 20-1, she's got just as good a shot as a lot of these other ones. And let's not forget Gary Contessa's record with 2-year-olds in stakes races. Last year, he had two wins at Saratoga, and they were in the Schuylerville and the Hopeful at big odds on both. So let's throw another cliche in there and see if lightning will strike again. Social Fortress just won the sorority stakes around 2 turns, and that followed up a really impressive maiden win. I don't know how much she beat, but you have to love a horse who just picked right up where she left off. Wasn't bothered by the 2 turns, wasn't bothered by the field, just ran off nicely. The speed figure was a little light, but again, around 2 turns, it's not going to be as high as it would be for a sprint. So at 12-1, I think Social Fortress is certainly a horse we have to consider. The Queen's MG, again, at 10-1, this horse, to me, is a real wild card in here. I think this would be a more logical place for her to run. But let's remember, again, it's 7 furlongs. It was probably a classier field. She wasn't able to stick around. And now you're going a mile. Just kind of wonder if maybe this is the as far as she could possibly go. And she just, I don't know. She ran again with some really hot fractions in some of those other races and was able to withstand them. I don't necessarily think you're going to get that here. I'm just against this horse. I can't, I just never really liked her. I've never really been a big fan of hers. And at 10-1, I just want to get value somewhere else. You want to use her in your mix, I can see it, but I'm just going to try to beat her. Economama, I really liked that Pocahontas. I love taking horses going into a stakes race who just came out of a tightly contested stakes race. And she ran a really good third. And I'll tell you, coming down the stretch, even though Liam in the Dust passed her, she kept fighting and just went neck and neck with Liam in the Dust all the way down the stretch. And visually, to me, it looked like she got up at the wire, or got past Liam in the Dust for second. But alas, she only got third. But I thought it was a really good effort. And, if she could build off that here, she's going to give Senza Parole all she can handle. And at 15-1, I really like the price. And to me, Senza Parole, while having an impressive win as a maiden with a speed figure that towers over the rest of this field, let's remember Ways and Means last year. She had a really big figure. Everybody was all over her in the spinaway and crash. It didn't happen. She broke poorly. That's true. There were, and that Ways and Means has rebounded nicely, but there are a lot of times fillies can bounce off of these big efforts, and I'm willing to take a chance that might happen here. So I'm going to try to beat Senza Parole with Economama. We take a look at our wagering strategy. We're going to go with Economama for the win bet at 15-1. We'll do a 10-8 cold exacta with Senza Parole, and then we'll box the two of them. Then we're going to do a saver exacta with Senza Parole on top, 8 with 3, 7, 9, which should pay either way. I mean, if we get value underneath with Senza Parole, it's worth it's worth throwing a couple bucks at it. And then we're going to do a key box with 10 on top, with 3, 7, and 9. And if that one comes in, it's Tube City. So we're going to be bold in this race, and hopefully we'll get paid for it. Trifecta. Let's try to max it out. We're going to key with the 10 with 3, 7, 8, and 9. And again, I think that, if we're right, we got a really nice score potentially. We're going to need some luck without a doubt. So wish it to me. But we'll go with Economama in the upset, in the Frizette. Hope this analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. I wish you the best of luck as always. Wish me luck too. And it should be a real fun day of racing. We're going to have more posts from Aqueduct as well as Keeneland as time permits. And we're going to try to get a pick 5 sequence that's all stakes for Keeneland for Saturday's cards. So be on the lookout for that. We've got Friday stakes races for Keeneland already posted. The Champagne Stakes is up as well. And we'll have more content coming up very shortly. So be on the lookout for that. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.